Level 1, Hour 1, the illiquidity paradox. You stare at the glowing terminal, $10 trillion. The number is a terminal diagnosis. If you dump this into consumer markets or retail equities, the M2 money supply ruptures, triggering hyperinflation that renders the digits mathematically useless. You cannot buy a Ferrari. You cannot buy a mansion. To spend this capital without destroying its host, you must operate like a tectonic plate. You start by liquidating your current life. You dial a classified conduit to the Bank for International Settlements. You hire a phalanx of 300 ex-SEC attorneys, quant strategists from Citadel, and crisis managers from BlackRock. You retain them with non-disclosure agreements secured by $50 million offshore wire transfers. They do not smile. Their eyes dart across the screens, terrified of the systemic risk sitting in your checking account. Your mother texts you, asking if you still want to get dinner at Olive Garden. You leave her on read. The biological human experience is already slipping away, replaced by the sterile, mechanical pressure of capital allocation. Level 2, Hour 8, the sovereign debt sponge. The clock ticks. You execute massive, staggered block trades in the dark pools. You absorb $2.5 trillion in US Treasuries, German boons, and Japanese government bonds. By purchasing existing sovereign debt, you park capital without injecting raw inflationary liquidity into the consumer economy. The yield curve flattens instantly. It forms an unnatural geometric line that causes algorithmic trading bots at Goldman Sachs to hemorrhage panic. Your phone lines are routed through encrypted military satellites. The Secretary of the Treasury calls you. His voice trembles. He refers to you as Sir. He is no longer a statesman. He is merely a volatile variable in your portfolio. You instruct your newly formed family office, a fortified subterranean bunker in Lower Manhattan, to set up thousands of shell corporations in Delaware, Luxembourg, and the Cayman Islands to obfuscate the origin of the trades. The concept of personal wealth evaporates entirely. You are no longer a rich person. You are a macroeconomic weather event. Level 3, Hour 16, Corporate Subjugation. You pivot to global equities. You cannot buy on the open market without triggering a destructive exponential melt-up. Instead, you orchestrate off-exchange private buyouts of the foundational infrastructure of global commerce. You absorb the majority stakes in Saudi Aramco, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, and ASML through back-channel negotiations facilitated by Rothschild and Lazard fixers. You spend another $3 trillion in absolute, deafening silence. The CEOs of these apex predators are flown to your location on private Bombardier Global 7500S. They sit across from you, sweating profusely through their $8,000 Brioni suits, waiting for your nod. You do not speak to them. You slide a digitized term sheet across the mahogany table. They sign it. They have to. You now own the silicon that processes global thought and the crude oil that pumps global blood. Your former friends have been paid $10 million each to sign lifelong NDAs. They are effectively exiled from your reality. You realize friendship is merely an unmonetized liability. Level 4, Hour 24, Terrestrial Monopoly. Paper assets are insufficient. To park the next $2 trillion without causing a localized economic collapse, you target the physical crust of the Earth. You deploy thousands of proxies to purchase 400 million acres of arable land across North America, Brazil, and Ukraine. You quietly fold them into anonymous agricultural trusts. You acquire the global supply chain of rare earth minerals. You buy every operational lithium mine in Australia and every cobalt vein in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The global commodity markets freeze, paralyzed by the sudden, invisible consolidation of ownership. The service around you is terrifyingly flawless. A private butler brings you a glass of water on a silver tray. His heart rate is visibly elevated, pulsing against his stiff collar. He knows he is serving a being that owns the groundwater he drinks. You look in the mirror and see a corporate entity. Your human desires, hunger, lust, exhaustion, feel like pathetic software bugs that desperately need to be patched out. Level 5, Hour 32, Subsuming the Grid. The scale accelerates. You target the physical networks that sustain modern civilization. You launch hostile, all-cash takeovers of the world's primary telecommunications cables, purchasing the massive fiber optic arteries lying dormant on the floor of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. You buy out the major defense contractors. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and BAE Systems are forcefully folded into a singular private holding company. You do not care about the physical weapons. You care about the patents, the orbital satellite networks, and the geopolitical leverage. The Pentagon sends a 4-star general to negotiate the terms of their own operational survival. He stands at rigid attention in your sterile office. You do not offer him a chair. The psychological shift is absolute. Governments no longer regulate you. You permit governments to function. Your biological family is permanently relocated to a subterranean compound in New Zealand, surrounded by ex-Mossad mercenaries. You do not miss them. They are simply secured assets on a heavily guarded balance sheet. Level 6, Hour 40, the Intellectual Property Vault. You have $1 trillion remaining. You cannot buy more land or companies without triggering antitrust alarms that would halt the global economy outright. You pivot to purchasing human progress itself. You buy the exclusive rights to every major pharmaceutical patent, every generative AI model, and every quantum computing architecture currently in development. You lock them away in a darknet digital vault. Leading universities and research institutes effectively become your direct, unconsenting employees. The global scientific community now requires your explicit, automated permission to cure diseases or solve complex mathematical algorithms. Society's gaze upon you shifts from awe to sheer existential dread. You are no longer covered by Forbes. You are classified by intelligence agencies as an omnipresent, untouchable threat. When you walk down the hallway of your biometric-secured penthouse, the silence is deafening. There is no one left alive who can speak to you as an equal. You are completely alone, insulated by impenetrable layers of legal and financial abstraction. Level 7, Hour 48, the Final Ledger. The final $500 billion must be neutralized. You dump it into the unregulated derivatives market. You purchase massive, esoteric swap contracts designed specifically to mathematically cancel each other out. It is a financial black hole that absorbs the remaining capital without leaving a single ripple in the consumer economy. The 48 hours expire. The $10 trillion is completely gone. The global economy remains superficially intact, completely unaware that its underlying architecture has been entirely replaced by your signature. You sit in an ergonomic Herman Miller chair that cost $4,000, staring at a custom Bloomberg terminal that reflects a perfectly stable, unbothered market. You have successfully bypassed inflation, but the trap has snapped shut. If you sell a single asset, nations fall. You cannot retire. You cannot make a mistake. You have ceased to be a human being and have become the central, load-bearing pillar of human civilization. You feel absolutely nothing.